Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of the Pancake Parlay, episode 16. I am your host, the Don, and I'm here with Chowders. How's it going?
Yeah, good man. How are you?
I am good. This episode, we're going to be talking about our top 10 films of 2017. So, once again, just a little bit of house rules here. You can always find us at Stitcher, Libsyn, Omni Radio, YouTube, the YouTube channel Marketing Movies, where we split it up. And yeah, basically just give us a comment if you like want to engage with us. And once again, you can always find us at pancakeparlay@gmail.com. So just be part of the comment and just keep on commenting of the comments. So essentially we're gonna be doing our top 10 films of 2017. What we found was the best films that came out of that year. Obviously, for me, I had quite a lot of things that were honorable mentions that were just getting cut off. Like, I feel like my top 10 could have been like a top 15. Like, how about you, Chatters? Like, how did you feel when making this list?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was going through the list of movies that came out in 2017, and there's a lot of films like that I haven't even seen yet. And looking at your list, there's a lot of movies that I want to watch that I haven't seen that are on your list. So again, it's kind of the same with our top 10 TV shows. We haven't seen everything. This is just the top 10 based on what we've seen. And so yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of honorable mentions that maybe don't quite cut it. But that's the thing with top 10 lists.
It's all subjective. We're once again, we're not critics, so we don't go to screeners or we don't go to.
I don't know about you, man. I'm
don't worry, guys. I got this shit. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of films that once again, we since we live in Australia, it's a lot different. Where it's for example, a lot of the Oscar films do come out in January. So you could technically say it's a 2018 film, but it's we're going by American dates because screw that. All right, because we're not doing that. It'd be weird. All right. Yeah. Let's go. So my number 10 is Wonder Woman.
I used to want to save the world. This beautiful place. But the closer you get, the more you see the great darkness within.
Good.
Wonder Woman's my number 3, but I can definitely understand why it is your number 10.
Yeah, I feel once again, number 10 literally of my list just changed about half an hour ago. It felt I kept on just switching. I'm what is is that really good of a film? I've only watched Wonder Woman twice, and I kind of want to watch it again. I should have got a refresher, but I felt it does deserve a good mention, a number 10. It's a solid film, especially in the background of World War One. There is a lot of good cinematic moments. Everyone always talks about No Man's Land, but there's so much other stuff the Themyscira, the island where all the Amazonians are. That's beautifully shot. I like how it sets up a lot of the story. In the sense of just who these characters are and what they do. It does it in a really good way. You understand Diana, her motivations, as well as her her mother and a few of the other characters within 3 to 4 minutes of meeting each other's character, and they kind of evolve from there. I really like what is it, Chris Pine and Gal Gadot. That's once again, everyone is always how do you pronounce her name? I'm gonna say Gal Gadot. Okay. Well, it's Gal Gadot and Chris Pine. I like their chemistry. I like how she's kind of got this very innocent thing about her, but at the same time she knows that she can take action, and I really like that. Just to me, this is a slightly light-hearted toned Zack Snyder film. This is shot like a Zack Snyder film where it's visually insanely impressive. It just has a slightly lighter tone, even though it is World War One. It's got more of it's slightly brighter than a Zack Snyder film. But yeah, I love this film. A lot better than most of the Marvel films, just saying. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Marvel films on my list, and yeah, it's above all of those. As I mentioned, it is my number 3. But yeah, Wonder Woman, she hasn't really been interpreted in a modern context as much as the other Trinity members, Superman and Batman. There was the old Wonder Woman TV show and there was also the animated series, but that's about it in terms of mainstream kind of perception on her. And I think with this movie, like it was fantastically done, in terms of trying to bring her character on the screen and giving life to a character that's been around for probably 30 plus years, no, actually longer than that. But yeah,
Quite a long time.
I love it. Yeah. I just really like the one bit I didn't like about the film was the very end where it's her fight with Ares, but everything before that is just really great.
Yeah.
Just her like kind of traveling the world, finding out that humanity is kind of messed up and trying to be like a beacon of hope, but also being really naive. Like it's very much like a Greek tragedy in that sense. Even though they do flip a lot of the concept of like what Themyscira is and what the Amazonians were, and why there's the island of Themyscira is supposed to be a Greek island, full of like Greek women, but they explain it in this film that there's women of like different races and creeds because the gods created them to try and calm the anger in man, and that kind of explains. So they went to all the different worlds and stuff. So it's a very interesting and very like fleshed out interpretation of the Wonder Woman mythos. And I think like I look forward to more films from DC that are more like this one. None of the Justice League didn't make my list for obvious reasons.
Once again, I thought it was good. I thought it was just, to me, like a normal Marvel film to me. Like, I'm just like, yeah, it's there. It's good. It's okay. But it's not something like, it stands out where I'm like, shit, man, it did something like amazing here. So that's why it's like not on my list. But I still think it's really good. And I think like, just Wonder Woman, like, once again, there's a lot of cool moments. Like, I feel like Wonder Woman has like some amazing moments in it. Like the bit with the ice cream, No Man's Land, of course, and I just like the There's a lot of things to like about it. Like I do like the ending, like not the big boss battle type of fight thing, but I liked the stuff with Chris Pine, especially around the end. Like I liked that dynamic, especially in their relationship and how they've evolved. I liked that whole thing, and I liked the certain moment where it kind of gives you a flashback of certain moments right at the end, and I really like that moment. Like, to me, it's better than it was done in other type films done that way. But yeah, I really like Wonder Woman. So
yeah, it is really good. And like what I was saying, like I liked aspects of Justice League, and if you're interested, we did do a podcast on our review of Justice League, so feel free to look that up if you're interested in our in-depth analysis and opinions on that movie. But yeah, like I look forward to DC making new things.
Yeah, like once again, I feel like Wonder Woman's one of those films that just doesn't get made anymore. Like it has a weird feeling. Like a film that I watched that isn't on my top 10 is like A Murder on the Orient Express. I'm like, it feels like it's like from the 90s where it's just like a fun adventure, or like the original Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm like, well, why don't people make films like this anymore? Like I feel they don't. Or they don't make or they don't make enough money, like Tomorrowland or John Carter or something like that. So
yeah, well, at the same time, like a lot of original ideas, is kind of hard to put a lot of money to, like, justify money, putting money towards making a film like that. I think I can see only one film on our list combined, that is a original story that's not based off like something per se. Maybe two, actually, now that I'm looking, and they're both on your list, by the way.
Yeah, less adaptations on my list.
Yeah, exactly. But that also just goes to show that maybe we do need a little bit more originality in the world. But again, it's like it's hard to justify putting money into something original when you already have a established fan base. Like people like Wonder Woman. People know who Wonder Woman is, at least as an icon.
Well, especially now, like she's like
especially now.
Like once again, like I go to conventions, like the past 5 years it has been full of Deadpools and Harley Quinns, but like even before the movies got announced, but like now, like in the movies were in full force. Now you freaking see a Harley Quinn like every like 5 people, basic conventions. But like now I feel like Wonder Woman's kind of taken that step now, especially of the new icon of like you want to dress up as someone from a comic book, and if you're a female, it feels like that's pretty much the one that people dress up as now. So that's really cool.
Well, we'll go on to my number 10, and my number 10 is a movie called Split.
What the hell is going on?
I was sent to get you for a reason.
There's a flower on the pillows, a flower in the bathroom. Like, we're important.
The only chance we have is if all three of us go crazy on this guy.
Who is that? Maybe she can help us.
It's a movie directed by M. Night Shyamalan, who has had his kind of, good films, bad films, in the past couple of years.
That in and of itself is a twist.
Yeah, which
his films are on the top 10. What a twist!
Yeah, it is really he kind of is a bit of a hit and miss director, but he was famous for his twists, and this particular film is quite great. It's basically about a girl or several girls, but one main one who gets kidnapped by a man who has multiple personality disorder. I think he has 27 different multiple personalities. We don't get to see all of them in this film, but
he identifies as a female.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely does. And in this film, we basically see the interactions between I think her name is Casey, and her trying to escape from this prison that she's placed in by the mystery man, played by James McAvoy, who is really great in this film. I think a lot of movies and TV shows I enjoy often involve people taking on multiple roles of maybe within the same character, so it's a very meta acting moment.
Basically, it's an actor's dream, being like, oh shit, like I get to do different voices, but also like postures and like how the character motivations, like for an actor to do that, like James McAvoy is probably just like, yes, I can like show off like my acting skills here. And that's pretty much what he did in Split. Like I really like Split. My early draft Split was on there because I really enjoyed it. I like, because once again, my favorite genre is people getting trapped in places and people needing to get out. I once again, Die Hard. You give me Die Hard, or you give me Don't Breathe. Those are like my favorite type of films. But yeah,
I mean, there's a movie that came out, I believe, last year, or was it the year before, in 2016. Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah. Like once again, yeah, I love those films. I love those films. So like once again, I like that concept. I like that idea. I like how like Split to me, because M. Night Shyamalan once again is very like a indie type director. Like once again, he's one of those directors that probably got too much power and too much money way too early on in his career. Like, because everyone was like, yeah, he's the new Spielberg, and everyone's like, and then that probably did something to his head. But like, he's very much like a smaller film type of guy, where it's like he would make a film that's like under like $70 million and can make quite a bit. Like he's like he's like one of those directors. And once again, I like the feel of Split. Like I like how like within the first 5 to 10 minutes you understand the main character's, Casey's motivations, who she is, but it's kind of evolved over during the process of the film. And then like once again, within like that 10-minute mark, basically the whole plot just completely goes forward and just shoves you into this situation, and it does it such in a good pace and such in a good way that I just I like the film in that sense.
I think the other thing that's really interesting about the film, it like starts off very normal in a sense of what has happened. This girl, she got kidnapped, but then it kind of evolves a little bit further into a little bit more creepy horror-esque. Like it starts off being like a thriller, but then it becomes a lot more horror centric. And and the fun thing is this movie is technically in the universe of another film. I won't spoil which film it is, just for our audience, because it's quite a good Easter
it's
egg.
from Titanic, like Titanic, like Jack drowned and he came back
as a
it's a crazy person.
Yeah, that's it, with multiple personalities. But yeah, no, I highly recommend Split. Go watch it. Yeah, you'll love it.
Yeah, like once again, I really like the film, and people should watch it. Like you said, it's not in my top 10 because I thought it was pretty good, but like not like holy shit. But yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. My number 9 is The Shape of Water.
If I told you about her, the princess without voice, what would I say?
This is Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo, I'm trying to get his name right. Okay, Guillermo del Toro. New movie. I love this guy. You know, he made Hellboy 1 and 2. He should have been able to make Hellboy 3, but whatever.
I thought they're making a Hellboy 3.
Oh, they're rebooting it without him because they had a whole thing where he's like, I'm gonna have a Twitter poll being like, I'm gonna go to the studio producers and say like, can I finish off Hellboy because it's like this one big trilogy, and the studio said no, and then like a month later, just like, yeah, we're gonna reboot it without del Toro. I'm like, well, fuck you. Like,
although that being said, I do like who they are getting as Hellboy. It's the sheriff from Stranger Things.
Yeah, but like Ron Perlman, man, Ron Perlman.
Yeah, I know, but like, you know, people also said that about, you know, Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, or, you know, I don't know. There's plenty of other actors who play certain roles. You know, so you gotta pass the torch.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, anyways, I
do agree. It would have been nice to see a third.
Oh, because that's the thing. Those two films were building up into a finale, or being like, yeah, Hellboy, like, he's still devil incarnate. At some point, he's gonna betray everyone that he loves because that's his natural nature. But you never see that greatness at the end. It's like, it's almost like building up to. It's like, my easiest way to explain it is, you know, like, for example, all these Marvel films, they're building up to the Infinity Gauntlet and then Thanos using it. But like, if the new movie Marvel Infinity War doesn't come out and they just reboot it again, that's what it feels like to me. I'm like, you had all this greatness, you built it up over 2 movies, and you fucked it. But anyways, I digress. Shape of Water. So this plot is based off just basically 2 cleaners in the 1960s, kind of working this like weird kind of top secret facility type of place with government stuff, and they find this waterman and this water fish dude, and he's obviously not from Hellboy, not that fish dude, even though it's played by the same actor. So like, del Toro probably got the idea. Well, that's the thing. Del Toro probably got the idea of being like, you know, how, you know, this fish guy in Hellboy, like, how does he? What happens if he falls in love? That's probably what this.
He couldn't make his third Hellboy, so this is the true Hellboy sequel.
This is the spin-off. This is the extended universe. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, and basically you follow this girl. Her name is Eliza, and she is deaf. So like, obviously, like, society kind of shuns her, and she kind of works in this facility. Her friend, who is played by Octavia Spencer, helps her. They have kind of a friendship, and then basically this mute girl kind of falls in love with this fish guy, because in a sense it's kind of like one of them has a disability and the other one's like obviously a fish guy, so they're kind of they're strange, but you know, they come together. Like, I think there's like one beautiful line in the film where he's like, he sees me for me and doesn't see me like as someone who has something missing, and I thought that was a very good line, and that's basically how they built up their relationship. Once again, solid acting from like, once again, a lot of solid acting, but I think the real reason why I chose this is because like, it has a weird like H.P. Lovecraft vibe to it. Like, you think it's like, oh yeah, it's a stupid romance with about a fish boy or whatever, but like, it has like a lot of good kind of weird horror-ish moments. Like, there's a shot where Michael Shannon, like, I think his fingers, like, yeah, Michael Shannon's in it, and he plays like a racist cop. It's Michael Shannon being Michael Shannon, being all angry and shit. But it's, yeah, Michael Shannon, yeah. He comes out, he's like bleeding hand, and there's like this weird hallway that's kind of blinking lights. It's just this bleeding hand, he's in the center of the frame, and he's just bleeding, went down to his knees, and he's like, like, it's, there's stuff like that. Or even, there's moments in the film where it's like underwater, and it's shot in a way where it just like the furniture moving. I really like that. And, yeah, once again, I feel like the movie's a pretty solid film. What were you, because we were talking before, so what was your problem with it, Chowders?
Oh, no, I didn't have a problem with it. It just kind of seems like it's Oscar bait.
It kind of is, like, it has some themes where, like, once again, Michael Shannon's some weird racist cop, because it's set in the 60s and things like that. There's a few things there, but I still feel like, it takes a back seat to a few of that stuff, and then it goes more for like, I guess the romance is what really counts in a way, and it feels like it's a little bit more carefree, I guess. Like, it's like, characters don't necessarily, it feels like it's, like it's not natural. Like I forgot what the exact term it is, but it's like it doesn't feel like it's like normal life. Like it feels like it's a fantasy. Like this is like something about it is off, and you just kind of go with it. Like it feels like just a fantasy, but kind of set in our world. And that, I kind of like it in that sense.
like I mean, I might have to watch it. Like, there's actually a few films that I haven't seen from, like, 2016 as well, that won Oscars and things like that. That even
2016 was a pretty bad year, I think, for Oscar stuff. It was kind of whatever.
For films, was it? I don't
for the Oscar ones, yeah. So like it was like La La Land, which I thought it was okay, but everyone had problems with that. I did not like Moonlight, which won best picture.
Yeah. You see, Moonlight, I've seen Moonlight, and I like, while it does deal with a lot of like dramatic,
heavy-handed stuff, yeah.
It just didn't, like, it wasn't a good film in my opinion. Like, probably it was cinematography. Like,
yeah. So once again, cinematography spot on.
The concept of like following, the main character through like being a child and being a teenager and then being an adult and seeing how it all kind of connected. There was
a better film and that did that, and it's called Boyhood.
Okay.
Richard Linklater's. Yeah, it was filmed over like I think 10 years, and it was like a little boy all the way to teenager. Like it was like a social experiment type of film. But yeah, that's a better film.
Oh yes. I have actually heard of that film, but I haven't watched it. But yeah. That was my thing about Shape of Water. Like, it might genuinely be a good movie. I was just saying that, like, from watching like the trailer for it and hearing kind of critic opinions about how, oh, this is really great, it's really progressive and all this kind of stuff. Like, it just seemed like it. It's like the kind of language that builds up certain films to win Oscars and therefore be Oscar bait.
Well, that's the thing. They've got Octavia Spencer in there, which is like an automatic, like, because Octavia Spencer gets always nominated for like Oscar films, I think, and she's won already. So it's kind of like, and she's like,
okay.
Yeah, she's like, and I'm just like, okay, like you can put someone else in there, but like I'm just saying, it does have the some of the hallmarks of it. Like, I'll be honest with you, a lot of the Oscar films that are nominated this year, like I've watched them and I didn't think they're good. Like the Florida Project was bad. There's a few I just didn't care about, but yeah, like once again, Shape of Water, aside from like the Oscar baity type of thing, I think it still has something to it that I think a lot of people can enjoy, and just a simple love story. And then she's like, I want to be with this fish guy because he's weird like me.
It's 2018, people. Come
2018, guys. Everyone has to fall in love with fish people. What is it? Not natural to fall for fish people now? Like, I don't know.
Well, speaking of really unique films, like, the more I looked at our list, I kind of realized actually there are some pretty original base, because I don't think Shape of Water is actually based off anything. Correct?
Once again, I don't think it's really based off anything, but I think it's very like heavily regarded as something like, once again, a H.P. Lovecraft type of thing, where it's got this weird feeling about it. Once again, it's like, it reminds me of Del Toro's previous film, which was, I think it was Crimson Peak, the one where it was like in a weird mansion house thing, like weird shit like that, where it's like something's off about it that doesn't look normal. But yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I just realized that my number 9 is an original film, unless I'm mistaken.
It's original. It's based off a music video that Edgar Wright made, but
Yeah, spoilers. All right, spoilers. But anyways, no, my number 9 is Baby Driver.
It depends who these people are. They probably don't even know who he is by name drop.
Hey,
you don't know. If you don't know, write in and be like, hey, you should stop insulting us.
So Baby Driver.
Oh, like a chauffeur. Anyone I'd know?
I hope not.
What is your name?
Baby.
Your name's Baby. B-A-B-Y, Baby.
Which is once again my number 3. So like same thing that happened to Wonder Woman in a way.
Yeah, we ruined each other's number 3s. But yeah, no. Baby Driver is a movie by Edgar Wright. It is about a man called Baby. Not his real name, as you kind of find out. Spoilers.
B-A-B-Y, Baby.
And it's about him, being a part of a heist crew, so to speak, and trying to get enough money so he can be out of debt with a man who he originally stole from when he was younger. And the reason why it's called Baby Driver is because he is the getaway driver in the heist crew. And the kind of cool thing is like, and remind me if I'm wrong, like the crew is usually changes around.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey's character, also R.I.P. Kevin Spacey, just in general.
Yeah, rip.
But
well, his career,
yeah,
he's still alive.
he pretty much is dead at this point. But yeah, like he was basically saying like, I never fail a job, and I just switch out people in and out on occasion. The only person who doesn't really switch out is Baby, because he's such a good damn driver and he's always the most reliable person. So yeah, Baby Driver, like, once again, firstly, I applaud original ideas, and I like, thank God this thing exists. Grossed, like, I think this movie grossed like this more money than like all of Edgar Wright's films combined, pretty much.
Really?
So like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, Scott Pilgrim, all of them is Baby Driver combined, essentially. So like,
yeah. Well, I mean, it had a budget of 34 million, and it made 227 million.
Once again, it's not as big, but once again, when you take into account like the minimal amount of money that it cost to make, it was solid. So yeah, like. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when it comes to like budget and like marketing, it's kind of generally assumed that, you have the budget and then the either like twice that
it's half the budget.
Yeah,
it's half the budget.
Yeah, half the budget goes to advertising, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely has made its money back and then some, right? And that's really good. But we'll actually get to another film that's did later on my list that did really well in that department. But yeah, Baby Driver is it's really cool. Like it's definitely very unique. It kind of reminds me of the first Guardians of the Galaxy in a way. Like the main character, it's very music centric, right? In terms of having the main character, he listens to music as he drives, and that obviously gives a little bit more.
That gives a reason to put music in a chase scene.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, it's more organic rather than like, ooh, we're Fast and Furious and we're gonna like jump out of planes and buildings and roofs and.
They got a tank.
Yeah, they got a tank now. A submarine. I'm pretty sure that happened in one film. I haven't seen it, but
that was the most recent one. My God, why did I watch that?
I'm still waiting for them to go to space, man. But
will happen. Will happen.
It's gotta drifting cars in space. I want to be alive for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like with Baby Driver, like it's very unique. It's and obviously it becomes like a bit of a love story as well. As Baby.
Can't you tell I'm a sucker for love stories, people?
And Baby, he just wants to get out of the game. He wants to live his life. And
I'm coming out of retirement for one more job.
That's basically it. It basically is that. And yeah, the film kind of hooks you in straight away. It explains to you the rules of the universe, the real rules of this particular story. Really,
and it does it in such an Edgar Wright way where it's like it's quick, fast cuts. There's a photo that I love looking at, and it's basically a screenshot of the film, and these characters are in the elevator, and I was talking about like how perfect the cinematography is, because like even if you saw this picture, you would know who these characters are and how they feel and what their motivations are just by looking at the frame, and that's basically just perfect storytelling. Like I feel like the story is minimal, but like the characters are what really makes this film pop, where it's like everyone's character has this, like a small thing about them. Like Baby, kind of is always uneven because he doesn't really want to be there, and he just kind of want to be left by himself. John Barenthal, you see him for a little bit, and he's kind of just like the guy who's just like the arrogant asshole who's everywhere. John Hamm has his girlfriend, and they have this thing together, and yeah, and then Kevin Spacey's basically just ahead of everything, and he just wants to play everything straight serious, and like I feel like that combined with a simple plot is like it's just perfect. The music goes perfect. There's a lot of scenes where they synchronize the music with it, especially there's like one of the opening scenes where Baby is walking around the street. There's things happening where like the background is kind of making noise, and it feels like a big music video. And I'm one of those I'm one of those people who like AMVs on YouTube, like animation music videos, and I love it when it syncs beats or something with the scenery that's happening, and I'm an absolute sucker for that. And this film basically does that in a action movie sense.
Yeah, I actually really like that first scene because it's like the song that he's listening to, like in the background, like lyrics or things that the song is talking about is there. So it's really cool to kind of see that happen. Yeah, I was actually gonna say like the other people in his crew, in the crew that you see, are also they're great in this film. Like I really like Jamie Foxx as Bats.
The asshole. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Like his character, like he just starts shit the whole time, right? But it's really cool to see like him interacting with Baby and the Darling and Buddy. I think as you mentioned.
Yeah, the couple. Yeah, John Hamm.
Yeah.
Good old John. I love John Hamm. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's
like,
pretty good.
He should be like James Bond or something. Come on.
Well, yeah, we'll get the petition started, mate.
Yeah, let's go.
But yeah, like it was really cool to see their dynamic because at the beginning, there's a lot of the crew kind of turn on Baby, obviously, as the film progresses. But it always kind of kept me on my toes to think, oh, who's gonna be the last one standing kind of stuff. And there's a lot of things that this film kind of throws like curveballs at you. Yeah, it's a really good film. Watch it because it definitely should get
more attention.
Yeah, more attention.
Yeah, and by the way, just want to note like Lily James as Deborah. Like I really like the coupling of her and Baby together. Like I thought that once again it was like I'm like, yeah, this could work as like an actual cute couple. And yeah, I think one of my favorite scenes of this film, it wasn't even an action scene. It's like pretty much 2/3 of the way through the film, and they're at the diner, and she's there, and then basically Baby's there with some like his crew, and it's like this weird awkward thing. Like I feel like I love that scene, and yeah, just man, once again I love this film so much.
It reminded me of the scene from Inglourious Bastards, where
when they're in the bar.
Yeah, when they're disguised as Nazis and they're in the bar and they're dealing with the Nazi commander and they have to like play it cool.
Yeah, it's the unsettling thing where it's like, oh shit. Yeah, but yeah, once again, I like this film. Driving's amazing, the music's amazing. Some stuff I've never probably seen in film before or like used in a sense. Like it's cut it's cut so well and edited so well to the music. I really like, and I just like. It's just got like a weird, like a warm, wholehearted feel for the film. Like I just feel like happy watching it. It's a good story, and yeah, once again it's original, and we need to promote more of that. So that's Baby Driver, which is part of your list, but mine was number 3.
Yeah, we're allowed to discuss our passions for movies that are on our list. But yeah, well, a movie that is on your list that I haven't heard of is your number 8. So what is it?
It is Bad Genius. I just watched this recently because I'm like, okay, this feels like a film that I would really love. And I watched it, and I'm like, I love this film. So this is actually, I think it's a Filipino film, from the Philippines.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so automatically it's it's international film.
Foreign films. We never said this list was going to be full of purely filmed from Hollywood. Who knows? I might have something from Bollywood on my list.
Some artsy-fartsy shit.
I do not. Spoilers, I do not have anything from Bollywood.
Apparently they make a lot more films than Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
They just churn out films. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So Bad Genius. So I think the single sentence premise of this, it's like the movie 21. And it's the movie like 21 and like Ocean's like 11 and stuff like that, where it's
Okay.
So it's focused on this very, very smart girl from the Philippines. She's got a scholarship. She doesn't have that much money, and she's basically just trying to work for the best, to be the best. And then she's like, okay, I could. She's so good. There was one time that she cheated for her friend, and then it kind of spirals in from then on out, where her friend spreads the word and says, hey, you can make a lot of money by cheating on these exams. So it's basically this weird thing where she has to cheat and tell everyone the answers of certain things by like they use the piano to do it, where she's like, oh, if I tap my fingers this particular way, that means it's A. If I tap it this way, it's B. And all the classes basically cheat, and then that's just the general premise of the film, and then it turns into another thing where one of the students wants to go to university, but to get to like one of the highest universities, you have to take the SAT exam, which is like a universal exam apparently everywhere, where it's like, this is how to get into universities. So she's like, the guy's like, yeah man, I'll pay you like $1 million to do it, even though she wasn't going to do it. And she has kind of like this semi-friendship rivalry with another smart kid who's like, once again, very straight-laced. He hates that she's cheating and giving other people answers. So they have a kind of a rivalry, and she flies to Sydney, Australia to do the exam, and then she has to basically tell the answers before to the people in the Philippines to get them back, because apparently it's like on the same day, but she's like, yeah, time difference. So yeah, that's the general premise of the film, and I really like the film. The characters, I just love them so much. Like, once again, she's a smart girl, but you know, she's just trying to look out for her father, who's all alone and needs the money. There's the two kind of bratty kids who have a lot of money, but like they do really bad at class, so they try to hire her. And then of course you got the smart ass, but he's like too straight edge that he wouldn't cheat, and he's trying to be an asshole to everything. And yeah, I just like the character relationships is really amazing in this film. One thing, yeah, it's weird that like you think, oh yeah, people doing exams, that's a really stupid thing, but they film it in such a way where it's so tense because you know that they're cheating. You're like, oh shit, they're gonna get caught out. Once again, another thing that stood out was the music. It was like this very like synthy, like, you know, like the movie Drive. It felt like that, but like in exams. If that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, I really enjoyed the film. Like it hooked me within the first 10 to 15 minutes of just like who these characters are, what they're doing, and yeah, I feel like, yeah, and it has this like kind of, I don't know, it just has a different feel to it that it's like, once again, it feels like a heist film. Like it feels like they like we're gonna pull off this crime. Here's our plan, and this is what we're gonna do, and then you know there's some setbacks along the way. And you're like, oh shit, how are you gonna recover from this? And yeah, that's basically the film. It's like really tense, really awesome. And obviously you should give more love to international films. So Bad Genius.
Yeah, no, cool, man. My number 8 is Alien Covenant.
Covenant, do you read me? Covenant, come in.
What's happening?
I need you back here right now. I need you.
Okay, baby, just calm down, sweetheart. Calm down.
Tell me to stop, Daddy.
You're breaking up.
Oh man, some people are gonna hate you, by the way.
Yeah, well, you know, to be fair, they're allowed to hate me, but the thing is that this film retroactively makes Prometheus a little bit better. I hated Prometheus. Prometheus is an awful film.
Cinematography is good, but and that one and the one scene of the alien like taking out the alien with the laser.
Yeah, true.
Cool.
Yeah.
Once again, I think those two things are the only thing that you could probably say were just like those are outstanding parts of that film.
Yeah, I mean the movie takes a bit of a twist in Prometheus when the main character has to give herself an alien abortion and then staple herself. Like, you know, you can't get any more you know, badass like that, you know, which is very much the trend of the Alien film. Badass women having to deal with aliens. Am I right?
Goddamn aliens.
Xenomorphs, man. But you know, the thing with Alien Covenant is it kind of continues. It is a sequel to the film, and it is dealing with a new set of humans who are trying to navigate to a new planet and colonize it. With a lot of humans who are in cryogenically frozen. The thing that's pretty interesting about this film is
that James Franco's in it and he dies in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, James Franco is the captain of the Covenant, which is the ship which is taking humanity to a new planet. But then a malfunction in the I guess the cryogenics pod he's in just ends up just burning him alive. Yeah, feels bad, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but then the film is focused on his partner and the new captain, Daniels, as she, you know, and the crew get a message from a planet that seems to be from a song that's very familiar. So they're kind of thinking, what the hell is going on? There must be life on this planet, and so they go onto the planet, and that's when they screwed up, and they have to deal with aliens infecting him. The thing is, it kind of continues a little. One of my issues with Prometheus is that you know, the proto alien or the proto xenomorph that they deal with kind of infects people in a very weird way. Like for example, one of them in the film, kind of inhales it and then becomes like a zombie that's like resistant to being like set on fire, and it's just a really bizarre thing to deal with in Prometheus. Whereas like another person kind of deals with like a traditional styled like face hugger alien that kind of infects.
But once again, I
in
feel
the
like
mouse.
Alien Covenant is it's like half Prometheus sequel and then half an Alien prequel. Like it's got like horror elements of the like original Alien stuff with the explaining a lot of the Prometheus thing. So it's like a half and half film. Once again, I really like the film. Like this was once again on edging on number 10 as well. Like I felt like cinematography of it is fucking beautiful. Ridley, like it's the Ridley Scott. He can make a good film if he wants to. Like if he really pays attention to it. I think a lot of people, the main reason why they hate it is because it retroactively deletes kind of what Alien is, because it's like it's not really like it's kind of a spoiler where it's
well, I'll go into it like a little further. Like the thing that
because hardcore fans will hate it for one particular reason. Like it's a stupid reason. They're like, oh man, now this movie's ruined and all the Alien films are ruined because of this.
Oh well, this is the thing. Like this is part of the reason why the film for me kind of was a little bit more interesting. Michael Fassbender back at it again as David.
I'm surprised he hasn't won an Oscar yet. Like, why is this not been like this? You know?
I don't know, man. Again, it's not an Oscar bait movie, so maybe that's why. But no, Michael Fassbender is back as David and Walter. David being the robot from Prometheus, who
the English one.
Yeah. And Walter being, was he American? I don't.
That's the thing. The David's the English one, and then Walter's the American.
Yeah.
Because you need to figure out who the Fassbenders are who by accents.
Well, I mean that's part of the fun with this movie. It's very obvious who's who when you initially see David, because he's kind of lived on this planet for a while since you saw him in Prometheus. He's got like long hair and everything, so he looks like a bit of like a old greaser. But you kind of find out as the film progresses that like he's been experimenting with the aliens, and that's part of the reason why I think people don't like it, because it's kind of implying that he was the one who ended up genetically engineering the modern kind of alien that we see. Xenomorph that we see in the movies. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Again, because the world of Alien is very vague, right? And I guess maybe when you kind of you show what's behind the curtain, that kind of ruins it for some people. But I don't think it really takes away, what the aliens really are, because I think in general you can't really have an organism actively like kind of change the way and adapt the way the aliens like of course like these are like a fantasy creature, but at least it gives a little bit more context as to why they're able to do what they do so efficiently, especially against humans. Because as I was mentioning in the ways that the humans get infected in Prometheus, like it's all very weird, whereas like they get very streamlined in this, and they explain why, like the way that David manipulated them was like so that they infect humans very effectively in order to spread and propagate. But yeah, like there's just aspects of that film that's really cool. The aliens are back at it again. Obviously,
I really like the film. Like, it felt, once again, I like the alien parts of it, and I like the Prometheus parts of it. Like, there's a bit like it always sticks to my mind is the one where they're in the forest, like when they in the first encounter the actual like xenomorph type of things, and they're just like in the forest and they gotta shoot them down in the middle of the night. Like that was scary as shit. I like the weird sort of, I guess, homoerotic scene with the flute. Like, I feel like that was interesting, that scene.
Yeah, it is. And well, the thing is, like, I saw it coming the entire time, like, when it was, what is it? David's gonna try and kill Walter or something like that, and trying to take him on and try and, like, because he's just a bad guy.
And that's the thing. It's not like, oh shit, this is a twist, and it's a stupid twist. Like, because once again, they leave it very vague in a sense, but, like, it's more about the unsettling thing of like, oh, what's happening here, and that's what I find interesting. Like the main kind of theme of this film is basically because it starts off with the Wayland. So they hired Guy Pearce again to play Wayland. And the scene's saying that, like, look, you're David, you're my creation, but you will never have the feeling of being able to create something. You do not have a soul. And there was a thing where the music was playing at the start is I forgot what it is, but it's like a song about creation or gods or something along those lines. And then the film ends with that type of music as well, but it's more like creation and things like that. So like the theme of this film is basically David cannot create life. He's a mad scientist. He's a mad scientist.
He's a corrupted robot.
Yeah, you got to stop thinking about this film as like it's a alien type of film. Like these films, or like the new trilogy, like I feel like with Prometheus and this, and if they ever do the new one, which I doubt now because Disney owns Fox or whatever, that it's about mad scientists. It's about androids or synths, androids, more than aliens, I think.
Well, yeah, like Alien is kind of dealt with, like, you know, kind of AI and artificial life. In fact, I think in the original films it was the same as well. Like all the androids always like kind of saw the xenomorphs as a superior biological being to human.
They're just like, yeah, you deserve it because
And it's quite interesting because this film does kind of explain why they have such a high regard for it, because it was essentially made by an AI, right? That effectively knew how to target people, and so hence why robots kind of admire it. But yeah, so that's Alien Covenant. Give it a shot. It is not a bad film. It is a good film. It's an entertaining film.
Only fanboys who don't want to get their stuff ruined hate it, pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean, we can all fanboy sometimes, so that's all right.
Yeah, like Star Wars, man. What a great film that was.
Oh yeah. Again, Star Wars. You know, not on this list for a reason. We haven't had our Star Wars rant yet. I feel like we almost missed a period because I think everyone's
died down, but it's like, don't worry. We'll have another chance when the Han Solo film comes out. That's the one. That's the one where it's like, okay.
The thing is with Star Wars in particular, like it just failed in China, dude. Like
yeah, I think 95% drop off. Like I think they took it out of the cinemas apparently within like 2 weeks.
Yeah, because it only made about like 50 million in China, which is really bad considering like how
the
much
population. Not only that, but the population, and they added a character specifically for that, like one of the main characters.
To target like the Asian market. Yeah. But yeah, like it's crazy just how bad it's done there, and that just goes to show that marketing alone isn't strong enough to push films. You need to have a good film as well for people to watch. But let's move on to your number 7, which I haven't watched.
Yes, it's the one with the most annoying name. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
You're whining like a bitch, Willoughby. Some other poor girl's probably out there being butchered right now.
We've had 2 official complaints about those billboards.
From who?
There's a lady with a funny eye.
A lady with a funny fucking eye?
And a fat dentist.
There's a lot of good friends of Willoughby in this town, Miss A.
When I first heard about this, I was like, my God, this is going to be a bad film because it's like Oscar bait type of thing. But it's so much more than that. Like, it feels like a Coen Brothers film, the way it's directed and the way it's written. So, like, I don't know if you're into, like, Big Lebowski or, like, Fargo, True Grit. Like, have you watched any of those films? And like,
no, I know all of those films, but I haven't watched them. I actually do really want to watch The Big Lebowski and Fargo. I definitely want to watch as well because I've been told by everyone like, oh, you got to watch the TV series, and you know you kind of have to watch the movie as well. So yeah, no, it's on my list, but yeah. I haven't seen any of them.
So yeah, like the Coen Brothers have a weird style where everything's kind of like heightened, and like the characters don't necessarily act like they act more like characters than human beings. Like they're
caricatures.
Yeah, they're caricatures. So like for example, the main girl in this, Frances McDormand, who plays Mildred, she is like this angry, bitter old woman, and she freaking just like she acts the way through the shit out of that performance. Like that's who she is, and that's the performance, and it's an amazing performance. You got Sam Rockwell is pretty much like this racist type cop, but he has to get his shit together, and he's trying his best to do it. Even Woody Harrelson is in it, where he's just an old cop and he just wants to get shit done. And he's in this because Ebbing, Missouri is like a place where it's a quiet place, it's a quiet town, nothing really happens, and Woody Harrelson's there trying to retire and things like that, and it follows the story of the mother because she's angry that her daughter basically got killed, and it's been quite months after, and the police haven't found anything, so she kind of takes action to her own hands of paying a lot of money for billboards that say what are you gonna do about it to the cops and things like that. But it's that's kind of like the main plot point, the thing that goes forward for the plot. But the rest of the film is the rest of the film is just about these characters living in this town and how they interact with each other. In this film I had a good sense of who these characters are. I had a good sense of their relationships with other people in the town. It feels like a kind of a Stranger Things type of way of it's a small town, everyone kind of knows each other, everyone gossips, and it's got that good feel about it where you've got these characters. I want to see more of this character in some other type of film, or if it's a TV show, I want to see him interact with these other type of people. So it's got that good feeling, and I just really enjoy seeing these characters just go off to each other and talking to each other and how they work with each other. So that's one of the main reasons why I like the film. It was mostly because of the characters, and the acting was spot on. And once again, if Frances McDormand doesn't win for best female actress, then Oscars are rigged, guys. Oscars are rigged.
Oscars have always been rigged.
Yeah, they pretty much have been.
But yeah, I remember seeing the trailers for this film, and it does look like a very interesting film. I probably should watch it. Again, another thing that I haven't watched, but I probably should watch.
What do you do with your life?
I watch films that are on my list, alright? that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Speaking
of your list.
Yeah, speaking of my list, my number 7 is Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
Is more than the clothing we wear or the weapons we bear. It's about being willing to sacrifice for the greater good. I hope you're ready for what comes next.
God damn, I wanted this to be on the list as well. I was so close. So close.
Yeah. I mean, again, this isn't a top 15, and I think if I would have struggled to put 15 on my list because I haven't seen I remember reading online that less and less people are going proportionally to watch films than in the past, and I think a lot of that comes from how we consume our media.
Once again, it's the Netflix thing. It's is it on Netflix? Yeah. I'll just see it on Netflix. Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people would just prefer to just watch, wait till it comes out on Netflix, right? And a lot of films are coming out on Netflix as well that, Bright. I haven't seen Bright. I don't know if it's any good.
See, I like it, but everyone, critics say it's complete trash. And I'm just yeah, I don't know about that, but we'll see, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, well, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are kind of moving over towards that kind of thing. And so I think there are less and less films that people want to see in the cinema. Even with me, it's I could watch Shape of Water or Three Billboards, but I think it's
that feels more like a thing at home. Yeah. And that's most of the Oscar films. You see the big bombastic set piece films in a big cinema because you want to get the best things possible, which is one of my films on my top that is pretty much you need to see it in a cinema. But and then the other ones it's just people talking. I could probably watch this at home.
well, that's the thing. With Kingsman: The Golden Circle, it is definitely not as good as the first Kingsman. I do like the first Kingsman a lot. I think it is definitely the superior movie out of the two. But The Golden Circle is a really fun film. You do have Colin Firth back again as Galahad.
Oh god, spoilers, man! Oh my god,
spoilers. Yes, yeah, spoilers. I mean, it happens within the first couple of minutes of the film.
And it's in the trailer, come on.
Yeah, and it's in the trailer. Yeah, true. It's in the trailer as well. But I do really like the fact that at kind of midway. Well, the thing is, and I can kind of understand why people might not like it because in the first film, Galahad, who is Eggsy's mentor, gets shot and killed after probably one of the most coolest fight scenes to come
for a very long
like,
time in cinema.
Yeah, it's like a really unique and well executed fight scene. Highly recommend. Just go on YouTube, just write in what is
Church
it?
scene.
Yeah, exactly, perfect.
Actually, I just found out recently that Family Guy parried it in one of those most recent episodes. Yeah, it's like Meg and the other kid. They're in the cafeteria and they literally just do the same thing.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that particular.
I'm like, this is freaking cool. Like, once again, I feel like Kingsman has made an impact on something, and like I really like. Once again, I love Matthew Vaughn. Like, I feel like he's the most he's my Tarantino of this age. Like, I think like in the 80s was Spielberg, 90s was Tarantino. I think like 2010s. To me is Matthew Vaughn. Like, I like everything that he makes, like Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, Kingsman. Like, all these films to me speak to me, and I love Kingsman. I didn't put it on my list because I'm just like, I don't know, but like I love the second one. It just didn't put as much of an impact onto me as much. But still, like, the set pieces in this film are just nearly as amazing. Like when they go to Poppy Town.
Mm-hmm.
The characters, I love Eggsy and seeing him mature as like an actual like agent spy. I like Merlin, played by the bald guy, Mark Strong. Solid. Like I just and I like the over the top villains. Like the series, reason why I like Kingsman so much is so over the top and it doesn't give a shit. Like Poppy, played by Julianne Moore, she's like this very like hardcore Americana type of girl, and she's just like, I'm the best businesswoman, but no one respects me because I sell drugs, so let's make drugs legal, and that's her plan. And like, you don't have to be like, let's take over the world. That's it, and I love it.
Yeah, like it's a really simple plot. Essentially a lot of the reason why the movie's called The Golden Circle is after the events of the first Kingsman. Eggsy has kind of come into his own being a spy and having to deal with being the boyfriend of a princess and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, all the Kingsman agencies and agents like get assassinated and killed. That particular thing I kind of didn't like because I actually really liked some of the older cast. I've forgotten her name, but there's the girl who is with Eggsy during the
she basically became a Kingsman, and then Eggsy failed, so technically she is the Kingsman. But that's exactly. The thing. You don't see her actually die. And once again, if you can bring Colin Firth back from getting shot in the freaking eye, I'm pretty sure Kingsman 3 she'll come back somewhere. And speaking of that, how did you feel about the new characters with Thingamajiggy, the Americans, the statesman?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing I actually really liked about this film. So, Eggsy, he and Merlin kind of go off, and they're kind of like all depressed, and they're like, all right, we got to use the contingency plan, and they drink, I think, an old bottle of brandy, and it's called, I think, Statesman. So they go over to America, and there is a American division of the Kingsmen, that is called the Statesman, and they're just like this. Extremely like Western styled, like Texas,
That's what I love. That's what I love about this. It's so stereotypes, and it doesn't care. It's like English people, prim and proper, and it's like Americans, whiskey cowboys.
Yeah, well, and I think it's really great. Like in terms of the universe, like it's very like I would love to see like if they do something like a Kingsman 3, like they might have like an Australian division, and they're all just Crocodile Dundees,
and got like, boomerangs. This is not a knife. Like that's what I want.
Yeah. And when they go to China, it's like something else. Like it'd be really cool if that's their kind of extended universe, right? Like, and it's just called Kingsman, but then it's just like something else, some kind of parody on that. And I think it's really cool. I really liked it. Even though we don't get to see a lot of them kind of fleshed out per se. Like you do have Halle Berry as Ginger Ale. I think they're all named after different drinks.
Aside from her, because she's a mixer, because she's not a real agent yet. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, true. She does become there's all these other characters in it, but we don't really get to see too much of.
The main reason why, yeah.
So in what?
Kingsman. The main reason why you don't see a lot of those characters. Have I told you about this one?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Because Matthew Vaughn wanted to make this pretty much into 2 films. Like apparently this was supposed to be like there's apparently like 4 hours, 5 hours of this film, and it's basically cut into a 2-hour film. Like this was supposed to be like a part 1, part 2 type of situation. So, but they condensed it into one film. So that's why a lot of the character stuff, like the motivations, might not be as like, oh, I see the main reason why is because it's probably cut out. And apparently, even stuff with what's his name, the guy that everyone loves because he's the guy who got on ice.
Oh, Channing Tatum. Yeah,
Channing Tatum, once again, the girl that everyone likes, the girls, yeah. But like apparently he was supposed to be one of the main guys in the film. But I think he was busy filming something else, so they're just like, yeah, we'll just put you out. So apparently there was a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's the thing. There was a lot of stuff.
Weird.
So yeah, once again,
the thing is, like, I could probably put this film like lower on my list, as well. But the thing is, like, I think overall, I'm kind of happy with its placement. It definitely could have been a better film. But I think overall, like, it's really cool to see them trying to, it kind of reminds me of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a lot of ways. Like, it's kind of like, oh, the first season is kind of like, well, all the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is really bad, but like in terms of a story arc, is like, oh, like, cool, this is when we're establishing Kingsman, and then Kingsman goes down, and now we have to make a new Kingsman, and it's going to be bigger and better kind of thing, and that's what we might see for the sequel. So yeah, Kingsman, it's really cool. Have a watch, and
it's got some really good music. Once again, it's got Prince in there. They got Elton John actually in the film as well.
Yeah, Elton John ends up being
more pivotal than you think he would be.
He becomes a Chekhov's gun, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so go watch The Kingsman, The Golden. We'll move on to your number 6.
Yeah, my number 6 is it's another international film. So, oh man, this guy, artsy fancy guy.
But it came out in 2016.
Yes, but the American version came out in 2017, so I'm fucking cheating here. This is an anime film. It's called Your Name.
If we see each other, we'll definitely know right away.
I wanted to tell you that wherever you are in the world, I swear that I'll find you again, no matter what. Who are you?
Can I ask you your name?
This is the highest grossing anime. I think the highest grossing film in Japan, like overall. I think.
Oh wow.
So it beat I think Spirited Away. So that's why it's got like that big, holy shit, what is this thing? It's directed by Makoto Shinkai, who is apparently everyone's gracing him as the new Miyazaki, and he's just like, hell no, like I'm not as good as him. But he's steadily approaching that level. Because like Miyazaki is very like traditional hand-drawn type of animation, and Shinkai is like the new age. Like he does digital backgrounds, and it's all done on computer. But like his digital backgrounds are freaking amazing. Like even if you just type in his name and just say, look at his background art, it's beautiful. So once again, this film is absolutely goddamn beautiful. Like the way he draws not only the backgrounds, scenery and things like that, but the design of the characters are really well. So this is there's certain things that happen in the film that I can't really spoil, but the main story of this is that a guy from the city and the girl from the country kind of like switch bodies, so they do this like Freaky Friday type of thing, and you know they kind of realize what's happening, and then all of a sudden they develop a friendship, a relationship of you know their lifestyles are different, and how they act, and it's a love story in the end. But the main reason why I like this film so much is it does so many amazing things with the plot and who these characters are, their motivations, but like it made me feel, it gave me feels like
yeah, sure, right.
Like because like you know I'm just like, oh yeah, sure, like when I watched it I put up on Facebook, I'm like, everyone's saying this is the best anime movie of all time, okay, prove me wrong. And all these comments being like, yeah, oh yeah, you'll see. Everyone's like, yeah, you'll cry. I'm like, might have teared up a bit at the end. Once again, it's if you've never been in love or ever felt anything like that, you might not be emotional, but man, this hits you like a ton of bricks, and you want these characters to be together, and you want them to succeed in their plans, and I just really enjoy the film. it gave me emotion, it gave me feels, which is like, how the hell did you do that?
You're an anime. Don't do these things.
Yeah, you're an anime. I don't want to see anime girls crying. So it's not cool. But yeah, like Makoto Shinkai, his most of his films, like, because Miyazaki has always themes about like nature and things like that. Shinkai has a lot of films that are like, all his previous works are more or less all about relationships and people being kind of distant, and they kind of connect together in a certain way. So I think it's like his other big-ish film was 5 centimeters per second, and it kind of follows this a boy and a girl, and the kids to teenagers to when they grow up, and they kind of and how everything's evolved. So like he does films like that, and he's really good at emotionally manipulating people, especially with the characters. Actually, this film, Your Name, does a sleight of hand trick that you wouldn't notice unless I told someone. So I'm not going to tell you, because then you'd be like,
I haven't seen it because I don't know, I just suck. But it is on my list, and no spoilers for this movie.
Yeah, but like once again, I love a lot of things about this film. So much so that apparently it's getting a remake by J.J. Abrams. He's going to do it. So
really,
and once again, I joked about it because like a lot of this film it's got some cool lens flares in the film, so like he's perfect for it.
Well, lens flares are impressive in an anime because it's not real life. When it's done in real life, it's less impressive. All right, I've seen all the Star Treks. I'm still watching Star Trek.
Yeah, the new one. But yeah, that's Your Name. Everyone should go watch it, especially if you've loved before.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I bet I should. I'll put it on my list now in terms of what to watch.
Pretty much.
We'll move over to my number 6, which is your number 2.
I'm shocked it's your number 6, to be honest with you.
Look, well, okay, we'll go into it. My film for number 6 is Logan.
What did you do?
Charles, the world is not the same as it was. Mutants. They're gone now.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel.
Which is the final Wolverine film with Hugh Jackman, or the Jacked Human, as I like to say.
He is a jacked human. I think
he's a jacked.
I think he stopped being Wolverine just because he's like, I don't want to be jacked anymore. This is really hard.
Well, I mean,
I'm like 40 to 50. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah, but like he's so jacked. Like he makes you want to be jacked, right? Like that's the thing. Like he inspired. Like you just have a big picture of Hugh Jackman like on your wall. It's like that goals.
I need to inspire to be this guy.
Logan is a really, really great film. It's definitely a great kind of send off for the character, especially because as we mentioned, Wolverine, it's going to be his last Wolverine performance. However, I'm a little bit skeptical that this will be his last one because of the fact that Disney has purchased Fox. So that will mean that they do have rights to Wolverine, correct?
Yeah, so like the only way I think they're going to come back is, like he always says, yeah, I'll come back if they join up with Marvel, like the cinematic universe.
So that's
and probably a truckload of money, and he's probably just like, I'm in.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, look, they what is the latest guy who plays James Bond?
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig said he wasn't going to come back as James Bond like every movie, but look, they just throw more money at him and he comes back. And I think and Daniel Craig's a pretty old guy, like doing all these stunts and all that. It's taxing.
Don't worry, he's not as old as Roger Moore. Like Roger Moore was depressing,
True.
like a 70-year-old guy being like, I'm gonna hit on all these girls and do action. I'm like, this is not happening. Just go.
well, the thing with Logan is I reckon it might not be his final outing because Fox has acquired the role, all the mutants and all that, right? So we could start seeing, the mystery film that is the Mystery Avengers film might be them trying to connect some of that world together to some extent. I kind of like X-Men being in their own separate universes. It makes it a little more believable, at least from a film perspective, right?
Yeah, I prefer it a lot better that way.
but like we could see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, interacting with your favorite Marvel characters, and that would be pretty great. Seeing him interact with Cap, calling him Bob and swearing at him, it's great. Like I think I'd like that. So I don't necessarily think it's the final outing, but it definitely could, because they could always hire a new actor to play Wolverine, and that could be his premiere movie.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, you never know. But to continue off, with Logan, it is the send away. It's based in the future where mutants don't no longer exist. There was a kind of a purge of mutants happening because of I think not a terrorist attack per se.
It was like a virus kind of set out, basically getting rid of the X gene.
But it's kind of explained to be that I think Professor X kind of went crazy and couldn't control his powers, and it led to the death of a lot of people. And you kind of see that some of that manifesting. So essentially, Logan is continuing on from this kind of world where Wolverine is in this kind of semi authoritarian world, and he's trying to take care of Professor X, but then he has to go on the run because now he has found that they're trying to make clones of him. And I actually really like this kind of dynamic between him and X-23, because it's just he's just kind of thrust into a dad role all of a sudden, and he has to figure it out. And she is I really like the actress. I've forgotten her name, but
it was Daphne Keane. I remember hearing that name over and over again because everyone's like, she deserves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Once again, I feel like this film, every single actor deserves a freaking nomination. Like Hugh Jackman playing this very old guy who's just sick of everything but needs to take charge of what he has to do. Patrick Stewart, he hasn't won an Oscar yet, but my God, he should have got nominated at least. It was soul crushing. Even to see the trailer for it when he's in there and he's he's old man, but very old, doesn't know what's going on. I felt for Patrick Stewart, and it's I love that relationship of because it's always kind of been there in the X-Men films. It's always kind of been Logan and Charles.
In a sense.
Yeah, so it's it's still them together, both of those two having a kind of a semi bond where he's the dad taking care of Logan, and now Logan has to pass that knowledge onto Laura or X-23. Yeah, because
and again, it's Logan, it's Wolverine having to teach the next generation. It's not necessarily the best role model to have, especially if you read the X-Men comics, he's not necessarily the best guy you want your kids to learn from, right? But it is him being given this role, and they go on a road trip to try and escape the authorities who are trying to capture them.
It's a pure Western film. The director of it, James Mangold, he did the remake of 3:10 to Yuma. That's a film that I really like, and he just does westerns pretty much really well. It kind of follows off on the Wolverine. I feel like whatever he set up in the Wolverine, or whatever he tried to do with the Wolverine, he completely nailed for Logan. I think the Wolverine is a pretty solid film. Once again, until the end, it's kind of like the Wonder Woman effect, where it's at the end where it's oh whatever. But and I just like what he's done to this character, where he's gone with this character, the tortured soul that can't he feels, but he can't show that he has all these emotions, and he just have to deal with. I just there's a lot of parts of this film where I really love they're just once again, the character dynamics are just spot on. The best acting I think all these actors have ever done. And once again, there's so many just we got to talk about the action. This is the first time you really see Wolverine or Logan being full on actually slicing people's limbs off. And
it's an R-rated film, right?
Yeah, it's MA in Australia, but I'm saying it doesn't hold anything back. This is the film that I think James Mangold always wanted to show. He just had to work his all the way up to do it, to get to this point. And I'm really happy that grossed a lot of money. Everyone pretty much loves the damn film. I'm just thinking about all the amazing. I just love how everything is set up in a very well-paced way, instead of just explaining everything to you. You never really get the mystery of Professor X, or Patrick Stewart's character, of what happened to the X-Men until way later on, and then you see that full, and then you see it later on when they go to the casino and everything freezes and you see how powerful like he is, but he's so weak. I really liked that casino scene.
Yeah, the casino scene's really cool.
Even all the action was like, it was brutal, and I just like the character dynamics, especially with obviously they're referencing that Western. I forgot what it's called, like Shane, I think it's called, where it's like the lawman who has to be by himself, but he doesn't really want to resort to violence, but if he has to, he has to. He's like the loyal guy. Yeah, that's when we're in the hotel and like, oh, this Western. That was like the main plot of this film, basically.
Okay.
And
I didn't know what that was a reference to. That's interesting.
yeah, so it was that. I just loved everything of even establishing the world of even the small things of technology, and like this is like the near future where there's like driverless trucks and people have bionic arms. Like this is a future that could happen.
It's definitely it's a very X-Men future. The thing, one of the things I actually really didn't like about this film was
the X-24 bit, isn't it? The clone.
Yeah,
that's always the one that people are just like, yeah, I don't know about that.
It definitely is something that I don't know. It took the film out of the setup a little bit, because it just made for a very generic villain. And well, I guess a generic villain for Wolverine to overcome. It's himself, X-24, because it kind of seemed like it broke away from what the film was gonna do. Like if you're gonna do something like Wolverine fighting Wolverine, like that should have been set out for like it kind of seemed like it should have been in another movie, right? And yeah, it just kind of took me out of the film a little bit. Like I kind of liked how, there's a scene where he goes into like Professor X's room and Professor X thinks it's him, but then he stabs him. But it's like it's just like it's just fridging the character and just like the last thing he sees is Wolverine killing him. But it's just really dumb. Like I just didn't really like it. Kind of and like you said, a lot of people really didn't like kind of that part in the film. It doesn't ruin the entire film, but it kind of, once again, it's like the Wonder Woman effect,
it basically makes it like not the perfect film. I don't mind. Like I think it's fine. I do like it. Kind of reminds me of something like Rocky, or like Rocky 6, or Rocky, that it's called Rocky Balboa, where it's like Rocky is the old man and he's versing the younger boxer, and in the end Rocky doesn't win, but he still made the distance. And in this, it's kind of like the older Logan versus the newer Logan, and it's like even like you can't clone the original, and it's got that kind of sense about it. But yeah, I just like just these characters. The emotion just hits hard, and yeah, I shed a little tear, especially at the end. Once again, it's not just the end for Wolverine. It's the finale. It's the end, like, for Hugh Jackman. Well, apparently, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it has something that a lot of these comic book films will probably never get, and it's a complete and utter finale of like a complete chapter done.
This is definitely true. Logan is very, very like it's very much like what Deadpool was, right? Like it's a very different superhero film, and it should be celebrated, and hopefully more will come out due to the success of this movie. But we'll see now that Disney has owned the property. They seem to be neutering anything that they seem to get their hands on.
Oh, burn.
I'm looking at I'm just looking at The Last Jedi. All right, like that's just a perfect example of Disney-fying a property that should be a little bit more brutal.
Basically making everything feel the same, and that's one of the main reasons why I want DC to be different, and a lot of these things to be. That's one of the main reasons why I was scared about the whole acquisition, because I'm like, like Deadpool was something different. Like it was something different. Logan was something different. The New Mutants movie is a horror film, and that's something different.
Yeah, it looks different.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like I want these comic book films to be different. I don't want them to all be the same. And that is my main problem with all the Marvel films, especially now. Like they're still not really bridging the gap to me. Like for me, where I'm like, do something different about it, But I digress.
We'll see. I mean, I like to see like what they do with the X-Men franchise. Like I think they are having like the final X-Men movie that's coming out. I think from the kind of new franchise, which is like the Phoenix saga.
Yeah, they're doing the Phoenix stuff.
Yeah, and hopefully they actually make it good, unlike X-Men 3, which was like a horrible film. But speaking of things that aren't generic, we'll move on to your number 5.
Yes, this film, I think for a lot of people is a love it or hate it film. And this is Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk.